So this one right here could quite possibly be the worst QC we've had this year. Awful. Yo, what's good everyone? Thank you for tuning in to today's video. As you can see from the title, we are back again with yet another review, and in today's review we are taking a look at the highly anticipated Air Max 95 Anatomy of Air. And when I say highly anticipated, I mean purely by me, as this is definitely one of the shoes in August that I wanted to add to my collection. Now I've got them in hand, I definitely have some choice words to say about these, so let's not make this intro any longer than it needs to be. Sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and dive straight into this video. So first things first, let's get the housekeeping out of the way and let's just take a quick look at the packaging. And because this is technically a quick strike release, we do get the all black box. Now as you can see, it's done in that all black colour with that gel-like Nike branding across the front. Pretty typical for this style of release. If we then just take a quick look at the label, which reads, we have the Nike Air Max 95 QS quick strike, and this is the Team Red Summit White colourway. I almost read the French bit, completely almost butchered that, and this is in a UK size 9. Now this is a personal pair, as you will be able to tell from the size label, so get a good look at it. That's what it should look like. And then inside the box we just get your pretty standard tissue paper. Underneath that, there we have the kicks, so let's go ahead and take a look at the shoes. So without any further ado, the moment we've all been waiting for, in hand we have the Nike Air Max 95 Anatomy of Air. Now this shoe did actually release as part of a pack of 2 for those of you that don't already know. Now this colourway is predominantly inspired by like flesh and muscle and blood, whereas the other colourway adopts more like a bone-like texture or a bone-like theme. Now of the 2 colourways, I would definitely say that this was my preferred choice and definitely was the one I was most looking forward to. Now if you did catch my August upcoming review, in that video I did say that this was high on the agenda and was definitely a must cop for the month, and I was able to grab these from End. Now they did the raffle on the Saturday but didn't dispatch to the Wednesday until they released on Sneakers, which completely did my head in, and that is why we're doing this review technically late, but still better late than never. Now if you are also looking to pick these up as well, these are still currently available in a lot of sizes on the Sneakers app, so if you are wanting to check these out before you do decide to buy, in this review I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know, from materials through to sizing, so you can make sure that you are making the right choice for you. Quick sip of tea to warm the vocal cords. Some ASMR there for you. So no more mucking about, just diving straight into this one, starting out with the upper to begin with. And when it comes to the colourway, for me, this has to be one of the best looking Air Max 95 colourways that we've seen for the last few years. The vibrancy of the colours, the details, the overall design choice. Definitely the minute you pull these out of the box, you won't be disappointed just in terms of the colourway. Materials, however, could leave a little bit to be desired, which we will get onto. So if we kick this off from the front of the shoe and then just gradually work our way back. Now at the base we do have this white suede material, which has then been overlaid on the toe box with this arrow shaped grey suede, and then across the suede panel we do have this overly pronounced or slightly exaggerated stitching, which I believe is supposed to represent like vessels and things like that, like blood vessels. Don't know if I'm reading that wrong or misinterpreting that, but the overall stitching work on mine was pretty shoddy, to be honest. A lot of loose threading which could definitely be pulled and then pull out other stitching, so the QC on mine, especially for the, definitely leaves a lot to be desired. As we then work our way onto the sidewalls, like what we see with the toe box, we do have that overly pronounced stitching once again, but in typical Air Max 95 fashion, we do see that gradient of colours. So if we start from the first layer to begin with, we do have this like maroon or maybe beetroot colour, which then transitions into a dark red, a dark pink, a lighter pink, with then white being at the very top on the base layer. Now personally, I do love the overall look of this. It does kind of remind me of those Anatomy New Balances that released a few years ago. I saw them on Seth Fowler's channel. Absolutely obsessed with the look of them. So considering this is probably as close to them as I'm ever going to get in terms of colourway, I was absolutely gassed.
Shut up and take my money!
But again, it wasn't without fault. I've got loose stitching, I've got glue marks on one of the pairs, and overall, again, the QC definitely took us a little bit away from me. But again, just in terms of the colour choices, it looks fantastic, very vibrant, very bright. And if you're looking to rock these in summer, definitely is going to be a really nice look. Now, the suede panelling is actually synthetic, so it's not the most premium suede like we've seen with some other 95s, but it definitely gets the job done, so there's no real complaints in terms of the material. And then as we do work our way even further back, we then have this pressed in white Nike swoosh on the lateral side, which I personally did think was a really, really nice touch. And then onto the heel itself, we do have some 3M detailing, and at the very top of the heel, we do have that black Nike Air branding. And as we do circle our way back into the center of the shoe, we do have these rope shoelaces that are actually like twisted, which I definitely wasn't expecting, but I think is a really nice look for the shoe. The only problem is with mine, some of the dye from the top of the tongue actually ran onto the laces. Given the fact that these are suede panels that are dyed, there is definitely a risk that it could bleed if wet, so just bear that in mind. And then the laces themselves are weaved through these like ivory coloured or sail coloured eye stays, and as ever present with the Air Max 95, we do get that Y-shaped overlay. Now beneath the laces we do have some of that mesh detailing, again pretty typical for the 95, and then at the top of the tongue we have more of that burgundy red with the Air Max branding in the centre, very very nice indeed. And then if we just actually flip over the tongue itself, now on the right foot we do get the anatomy of Air looking very crispy, very nice indeed, whereas on the left foot it just looks absolutely abysmal. It's not centred, it's going upwards for some reason, and it's almost touching the very top of the tongue itself. Another typical QC fault on my pair, which just definitely was the final nail in the coffin for me, and absolutely just like almost made my head fall off. I was so mad when I saw it, but unfortunately it just kind of is what it is. QC faults are to be expected. That one in my opinion should have meant that it should have never left the factory, but that's just my opinion. Definitely the one thing that I definitely can't live with. The other things I've pointed out, maybe they can get away with. Slight loose threading, glue marks, they're all kind of things that we would normally expect, but to up how it looks on the back of the tongue, to mess the text up on the stitching, I can't live with that, and you know, it's just one of those things. But then just to jump back into some more of the details, as we work our way even further inside the shoe, we then have this pretty nice salmon colour on the insole, again featuring that burgundy Nike Air branding in there as well, very nice indeed. And then just to round us off in terms of the details, as we then work our way down to the midsole, we do have that really nice pre-aged sail coloured midsole with the visible Air units at the forefoot and heel. Unfortunately, again, it isn't with that issue as there is some pretty shoddy paintwork on here. Isn't the best, isn't the worst, I can almost live with it. And as we do work our way onto the outsole of the shoe, we have that absolutely beautiful semi-translucent rubber outsole, and just underneath what I believe is, I think it's called the PSI, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I am, we do also have that really nice design in there. Now when it does come to the overall sizing for these, I went true to size with the UK size 9, which is definitely the same size I always wear when it comes to the Air Max 95. And quite surprisingly, I did actually feel like these fit a little bit tight, a little bit more snug than I was expecting, to be completely honest. I've never really had an issue with sizing, and size 9's always been my go-to, but for these, I do kind of feel like maybe it may take some breaking in time, or you may just want to go a half size up for a slightly roomier fit. It does seem like these are pretty widely available, so if you do have the chance to try before you buy, I do think that that'll be the best bet for you. And then outside of that, we've covered everything that you need to know from materials through to sizing, so if we now just go ahead and wrap up this video. So just to wrap up this video, in terms of my overall opinion on the shoe itself, to give these a rating, I'm going to say that these are a solid 7 out of 10. These would easily be an 8 or a 9 out of 10 if the quality control was actually controlled. I can't believe they left the factory looking the way they did. I'm absolutely gutted. I think the shoe looks absolutely incredible. But because of all the things that I've actually seen on there, from the glue stains to the loose stitching, the anatomy of Air on the tongue, just everything definitely took away from the overall experience. I'm almost on the fence about wanting to order them again from Sneakers. I really don't like returning to Nike. I've seen a lot of horror stories of people being banned. So I'm really not trying to be returning shoes that I don't need to. So hopefully I can get them eventually, but I do want to see them before I actually buy them, just to proof check them. I don't know if that's going to be an option, so I may just end up having to go without these, because this shoe is 110% definitely going to be returned. I'd love to get your guys' opinion on this one as well, so do leave me all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you have stuck around to this point in the video, I just want to say a massive thank you. If you haven't already, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. Also, do make sure the bell notification is switched on so you never miss a video, and I hope to see you all again in the next one.